What's up, Twitch? #1 movie podcast. TJ Emmy on the mic. This is There Will Be Duds. Joining me as always. Joining me today.
I'm not doing it. I don't know if I'm not doing it. Hi, I'm Nick, also known as Dr. Funk on Twitch. #1.
The name of the podcast is There Will Be Duds.
Like flipping out.
It's bordering on Rasta. That's all I'm gonna say.
I know. I need to pull back a little bit.
Yeah, pull it back a little bit. I'm Travis, aka
Commando.
General.
I'm Moose, and I'm Tommy, and holy fuck! Oh my god! You know, in high school, I had a buddy, and I we had these like characters that we made up that we would like fuck around as and like entertain like our classmates and our teachers, and it was like some really racist fucking like extreme exaggerated African accent shit, and like it was fucked up, but you know it was
we're broadcasting live, right?
But
I was doing an impression
that's not what we're doing here.
You know, this is my this is my apology.
Your atonement, your official
public apology.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm sorry for all of the people that I've offended.
For when you get canceled for that in the future.
Yeah.
Holy
Chris
fuck.
said you guys got to fire TJ.
And you know what's nuts?
Who
is,
said? Yeah.
Like there is a kid with with an African name, and we would like shout his name in this accent.
Oh.
And like just and it was like like didn't even occur to us that it was fucked up. We did that.
Well, I'm here to
Oh.
say that I never did anything racist ever, not even borderline. That's my apology.
I'm here to say I don't know if you guys caught it, but I called myself TJ Emmy, so it's
No, I
different.
caught it. I did
Okay.
catch it. I'm proud
Instead
you
of
for that.
VJ
That was
Emmy, very
nifty.
good.
That was really nifty.
That's a Twitch joker instead of video joker, so
Aren't we all
Okay.
Twitch jokers?
still works.
I thought it was a vagina.
Oh yeah, veg.
VJ.
Yeah, I'm not-
J.
That's
That's what Elliot calls, like, that sounds like an Elliot-ism from Scrubs. So I don't know if you guys are aware or interested at all. I think TJ probably is, but did you guys know that they made or are making a Jackass 4?
Are they really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you did?
I feel like I
did
heard.
hear about that, and like, how are they going to survive? They're so old now.
It's
That's-
like
They're all
It's-
gonna die. That's
yeah. There was an article. I think
I'm
it
gonna see how old
was
they are.
the Johnny Knoxville's 50.
He is.
Yeah,
That's about
he's
what
the
I'm thinking.
oldest. So the other ones are like
Yep.
45ish.
Yeah, they gotta be. Yeah.
He is like I think he did a art. It was for like the Hollywood Reporter, if that sounds like a publication. But like it's pretty good. Like those dudes' like life story is like very interesting to me. I read Steve-O's autobiography, really good about him like getting over all his addictions and stuff. It's like really cool, and how Johnny and Jeff Tremaine were like involved in it, and anyways.
Dave England is 51.
Oh, really? Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
I guess Bam is
and
like
Bam-
not in it.
Yeah, that was. That was what
I
was gonna
had.
say.
Have you been
That's how I heard
following
about
that?
it.
Have you been following that at all?
I just
Somewhat.
knew that.
He
I
is
think that's why I
not
knew
well.
about it because.
He
Yeah,
is
no.
not well.
Oh, really?
That's why he wasn't
He's-
in the movie. It was part of his contract to
He-
stay clean, and he couldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
Bam
okay.
Margera, he's been like posting stuff on Instagram, and it's like he's using again or something, but they're like
Yeah.
these weird like long unhinged messages, and he's like bloated out and like talking into the
Yeah.
camera and just like
He looks a lot like
not
his dad.
looking good at all. I think he kept like referring to like Johnny Knoxville and like kept saying
Yeah.
like Weinstein and shit like that. Like I don't know what he's trying to say about like Johnny
Yikes.
Knoxville, but it's just like there's some sort of it's like beef between those two guys plus
Yeah.
whatever he's on and like doing.
You
'cause
should-
it's like
you
it's
should-
not good.
You should read the Hollywood Reporter article. I mean, if you're interested, I guess. But like, it's kind of not necessarily victim blaming, but he's like really. It sounds like he's really not willing to accept like he got kicked off the movie, and he blames Johnny and a lot of them, when really it sounds like it's because they said, okay, you have to be clean, and he just couldn't do it. So
Oh, that sucks.
Well, he's kind of been like on and off the wagon for like a while. That's like,
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
that. I mean, I feel like that's very cyclical for most people.
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
like addiction problems. It's like you'll be clean for a while and then relapse and then clean and then relapse, and like it's really sad because
Yeah.
you know, Bam seems like a pretty good and funny guy, but like
Yeah,
it's a
I
bummer
think
to see.
when Ryan Dunn died is when he really just
Oh,
like
yeah.
couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He just kind of lost it.
Yeah.
I think I saw Jackass 3 in theaters
Yeah, I did.
back in like what
Yeah.
2009.
I seen 2 and 3. Yeah.
I think I even saw. No, I didn't see 1. No, I think I did see 1. But yeah, just it's gonna be interesting. I heard that like one of the like teased little stunts that they did, Steve-O got like the lower half of his body paralyzed by a doctor. So it's pretty.
What?
Yeah, he had a doctor like medically paralyze the lower half of his body. So
Why? Just for fun?
because that's Jackass. You know what we're talking. You know
Wait,
Jackass,
yeah,
right?
Like, wait, that was the stunt was to. I'm confused.
I don't know. It maybe makes it so he can't control his bowels or something, so he shit himself. I mean, you never know with those
I
guys.
could see that. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did Jackass really hit your generation, Moose?
Yeah, but I was a preacher's kid, so I never really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we kind of had that. We had that too.
Fair enough.
TJ and I and our siblings, we would always we were very inspired by Jackass, but we weren't allowed to cuss or anything, so we just called it JillButt.
JillButt.
Yeah,
JillButt.
because we
yeah.
couldn't say ass, so butt
Right. Well,
is
yeah,
the
naturally.
And I guess
and
it sounded
yeah.
better than Jackbutt.
I think
guess.
because for
Jackbutt.
some reason we thought like butt is the opposite of ass, because it's like ass is a curse and butt is not a
Yeah.
curse. So then what's the opposite of Jack? Jill.
Joe, obviously.
No, because it had to be it had to be a girl. So we called it JillButt, and we have
Wait. I always said Joe.
you idiot. It was JillButt.
I always said Joe Butt.
Yeah, that sounds familiar, but it was JillButt. It was definitely JillButt.
Oh.
Yeah,
See,
I think-
even as you say it now, I thought you were saying.
It
Joe
does
Butt.
sound a little bit like Joe Butt when you say it.
That's how you like when you say Jill, it sounds like Joe.
JillButt.
Jill.
Is what I was saying.
JillButt.
Actually, it kind of sounds
that-
like I'm saying
Jailbait.
jailbait. Yeah.
Yeah, I just heard that too.
Well, hey, speaking of jailbait, do you think Don Vito's gonna be? Oh no, he's dead. I was gonna
Yeah.
say. Thought.
Oh, fuck.
You like that transition?
That's fucked up, dude.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
Don-
is my mic still being picked up?
I feel like I put myself in a corner here.
Yeah, you
They-
did. Yeah.
No, I was
did.
gonna say. I was
That,
gonna say, like for me, like the Jackass movies were always not the movies, the show. I think like when my parents got cable, that was the very first time that like I had ever seen or experienced like MTV2, and I think that's primarily like where I saw it was like MTV2, and it was definitely one of those things that aired after 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and it felt like, you know, ooh, I shouldn't be watching this, and I'm watching it.
Yeah.
And I don't think my dad thought it was funny. I don't think my parents didn't necessarily. I don't think they cared as much, like, because I think they knew I wouldn't like try to emulate it, and also I guess
Sure.
I don't know.
Oh,
I'd like
did.
Well, I was the type of kid that I wore like husky jeans in middle school, so I did not have the physical prowess to do any of the stunts that they did in Jackass.
You
So like even
absolutely
if I
could've.
wanted, I guess I
Yeah,
could have.
Preston Lacey.
Preston Lacey.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Preston Lacey can do it. Anyone can do it. He's an inspiration.
That's
I mean,
true.
our
icon.
JillButt stunts were like we would take this tiny little Little Tykes tricycle and we'd like race down a hill and hit a jump. I mean, it wasn't really
okay.
that crazy. We would do some other stuff
I
where it
feel
was
like we
like
had
intentionally
some-
inflicting pain. Like there was the
We hurt ourselves for sure.
Yeah, like the Hot Wheels track thing that we did where we just like smack each other with it. You remember that? Yeah.
Oh,
That's right.
Oh,
Dude,
the
we
Hot
got
Wheels truck
welts from
track.
that.
That'll.
Yeah. We also do you remember that this wasn't really for, or maybe I did work it into one, because I remember I actually compiled like all of our stuff that we had done over years. So like some of it I'm like 8 years old, and then some of it I'm like 16. I compiled it into like one like half-hour episode, and complete with the guitar. Bring.
Yeah.
So I think this was in that. We did we made this air pressured Nerf cannon with like gas piping and stuff.
I remember that.
And we could like launch Nerf darts like across our yard, like
awesome.
our whole ass yard. And so we did a thing where we stood in front of the garage door and like with it like 5 feet away from us, shot it into like our backs and our stomachs and stuff.
Yeah, and remember we actually stuffed BBs in the darts too, so they would make it heavier.
Yeah, we did.
Oh God.
There's one that we like tested it before we stood in front of it, and it punched like an inch hole into, like, the dart was like halfway through into the garage door.
Oh
Yeah. It wasn't not like not the metal side, we'll say that, because that would be like deadly.
It was like
the inner side, which is like a
styrofoam.
It's like
basically.
a tough,
like a
it's
denser.
like that styrofoam with like that.
It's like
that,
denser,
plasticky.
Yeah. I mean,
what?
there's not really anything.
I'm confused about what material you're talking about.
It's like it's insulation. You guys
insulation?
probably don't have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your garage doors probably
No.
don't have it down there, really.
No, it's just that TJ was describing it very poorly.
Oh, okay.
We were both kind of talking over each other.
The only real gold that came out of this, I mean, it's really like anticlimactic because you're just standing there and then it's like, and you can't see the dart at all because this is a camera from like 2004, so it's like you can't see anything. You just hear us going ah, but like Isaiah was maybe 6.
I can actually see. I think he was like 9. I think this was around 2000.
He was young.
I didn't post that, but I posted a video of us like making it and like testing it out. But
Yeah,
not
that's.
us
I remember
firing
seeing
at
that video.
each other. And that was like 2008, 2009. So maybe he was 7.
Okay. Well,
I feel like the hot dog video kind of had Jackass vibes to it as well.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it did kind of. Yeah, that totally could fit in on that.
But in the dart video, there is like a half hour of us just trying to convince Isaiah to stand in front of the thing. And like TJ's like you can hear TJ. TJ gets like real. Yeah, he gets real like taking after me in that. He was just like, shoot it at him right now. And he was like holding him and stuff. And then and like he eventually like got in front of the door or got in front of the gun, and he was doing this thing. I'm gonna try and reenact it. It's not gonna be near as funny, but he was like building up the courage, and he's like he's just like, do it just like dancing in place, and
That's right.
we laughed so hard that we didn't even shoot him with the dart. It was so funny. It was so funny. It was so good.
Oh man, I think Steve-O has like a podcast now where like he I think I've seen clips of it like on TikTok or something, but it's him like talking about or maybe it might have been like a Hollywood Reporter thing. I don't know, but I thought it was really interesting because it was like Steve-O talking about like times that he had actually like hurt himself on set, and like he'll be like he'll like describe what happened, show the clip, and then he'll show just like the x-ray files or like the stitches that he had to do, and it's just like they put themselves through some shit. And I don't know, it's like it's like juvenile humor, but like I don't know, you almost gotta respect it because like throwing your body through that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
To be fair, we were kind of inclined like to do that kind of stuff anyways, because we would always do shit like, I mean, that same Little Tykes tricycle. We would
do that anyways.
Yeah, somebody would get on the quad, and then we'd just tie a rope to the back of the quad, and then we'd just pull each other around the yard at 40 miles an hour until we beefed it.
God.
And like that was like the goal was to beef it, but like to hang on as long as you could until you beefed.
Yeah.
And
well, I think that's also like you guys kind of living out in the country,
the boonies. Yeah.
And I feel like that's a very like we live in the country and we're bored type thing. Where it's like, you know, my parents like lived. I couldn't do hardly any of that shit, like living, you know, close to the city like that. But quads and Little Tykes.
Oh
and
yeah, like we had the room to
we had so many things that we could get creative with. We had this like really steep hill that my dad was like he put dirt there for some reason, and it just became this really steep hill. And
it was good for sledding.
It was good for sledding, but it was really short. But like that was another thing that we did. Like Sarah, I don't know, she was maybe like 7 or 8. Same Little Tykes tricycle. She like was going down it, and we were trying to get her to wipe out, and then at one point I just kicked the back of it, and she face planted and like scraped the whole front of her face. Hey, it's all footage, baby.
My parents would let
You're
me
gonna
do
be a
that
star.
shit. Like they wouldn't even buy me like one of those Razor scooters because it was too dangerous.
Yeah, those things sucked.
It was like,
you know, it.
My parents being preachers, like when you're a preacher long enough, you know, you get a few like funerals for kids under your belt. It kind of like changes your perspective of like the reckless shit that you'll let your kid do.
Yeah.
Like they knew a kid who like fucking fell out of his bunk bed and died, and so I wouldn't let him have a bunk bed. And you know they did a funeral for a kid who died in a 4-wheeler, so I wouldn't let him ride a 4-wheeler. It's like, and then it's like how the fuck can you argue with that? Like, no, Mom, I wanna ride a 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
I don't care that you you fucking buried a kid who died in the same way. You know, how do you fight that?
Yeah,
Chris just said at least it's a shorter service. Jesus, dude. see, like one of those like preventative measures that my parents did. We wanted like a trampoline. And I don't know. I don't know what possessed my parents to do this, but instead of like a traditional trampoline like you guys had, where it was like above, you know, it was on the metal legs or whatever.
They buried it.
Oh yeah, it was like dug in.
It was like dug in.
Yeah.
So my parents like dug a hole in the ground, and then they put like 4 or 5 or 6 cinder blocks where like the legs would attach, so the trampoline would stay in there, and like for a while. It worked. It's totally fine. But the trampoline was at the bottom of like an incline. And so whenever it rained, all the water would go down there.
Gross.
And eventually
Right.
the ground underneath it started to rise and filled in. And so it's like, I'm convinced that I hurt myself more on the safer in-ground trampoline because you'd be jumping and you'd start to learn which spots not to jump in, because if you got close to the edge, boom, you just get your heel on like a rock or like some dirt, and it would like send. It's like when you hit a baseball wrong on a bat, and it's like that full body vibration. That's kind of what it felt like. And then like there was one time because like. Well, TJ and like I guess Travis kind of know like what my parents' house looks like a little bit more, so they can kind of visualize it. But like it's kind of a hilly area, and like during the wintertime, we would sled down the hill, and like the trampoline was down there, but it'd be covered in snow. There was one time I was like sledding, and I think I was like on my stomach going forward, and I was sledding down, and I hit my side on one of the cinder blocks that was in there, and I had a bruise. Like,
God.
On the side again, the safer option, digging the trampoline. in the ground like that. And eventually he's like, I hurt myself more on that than like a normal trampoline would have.
God.
That's such an odd solution too, because like to me, like the dangers of jumping on a trampoline is that, you know, you do like the double bounce, so you get like flung, and like to me that can happen whether or not you're like dug in or
you're gonna hit the
feet off the ground.
Yeah. If you get double bounced and go high enough, you're gonna hit the ground pretty hard, like regardless of like
even
your
if you hit the
height.
trampoline, it's gonna hurt like shit. It's gonna rattle your brain. To be clear, also, like, our parents didn't necessarily approve of all of this stuff. It was,
no, absolutely.
They were just
they
like,
weren't too like
we'd show them
harsh about it either.
No, not really. We'd show them the footage.
And they would think it was funny.
They'd laugh and they'd be like, "You guys are gonna
you
get hurt," and that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And you know what? We
funny.
never got hurt. Like bruises was like the worst.
Yeah, really. I never broke anything.
No.
I have like a couple scars.
Yeah.
I have one. The worst one's like on my elbow here. It looks, you can't really tell, but it looks kind of like a burn mark. That's probably the worst like lasting thing I ever got.
Yeah.
I feel like your parents would be like, they had like a boys will be boys kind of attitude about that kind of stuff. Like,
I think so, and probably because they were
you're expressing yourselves.
both also like, I don't know. I think they both kind of grew up that same way too.
Rough and tumble.
A rough and tumble kid. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Commando.
Yeah, Commando. Yeah. But yeah, it is funny, like, thinking in retrospect. Like, at the time, I was like, well, yeah, we fucking know what we're doing, of course. Yeah, that's no big deal. But, like, in retrospect, I'm like, man, I don't think I would let my kids do what we did. Like,
Chris just said, my sister broke her collarbone using 2 sleds as skis.
That's rad, though. That's like shit that we would try, but we were never good at.
If you could pull it off, that would be so cool.
I will say, I think we had a couple near misses. There was one where we went sledding at that park in Lowell, and we set up a ramp, meaning we set a piece of plywood on a rock at the bottom of this big hill. And there was one where I missed it, and I
no,
like,
you
kind
hit
of
it.
bounced off it. No, I know I did, but there was one where I almost...
the board collapsed into the rock. So it just became a wall.
I'm talking about a different time. I'm talking about a different time where I like kind of missed it. Well, there was one time where... Yeah. But I'm talking about a time where it was worse because I almost fucking threw myself, like, my head first into, like, the rock right next to it.
Oh,
yeah.
That was probably, like, the scariest, like, in retrospect. That's the one that I think about that freaks me out the most.
See, you got to imagine one trip down the hill and then hitting a rock. In the grand scheme of a Jackass video, that's 5 seconds of footage. You got to fill, you got to fill way more. You got to get 20 of those bad boys for one little segment.
Oh, yeah.
I think the closest call I had was one time we had a go-kart. It was a 2-seater. TJ was driving. We'd race down our driveway, which was a steep hill, and then we had some of my sister's Barbies, and we would chuck them at the tires, and they would shoot like 40 feet in the air, and it was like the dopest shit to do. And we just kept doing that over and over. And one time, like right after I chucked it, I don't know, maybe I didn't hit it clean or something, but like I don't know, but TJ all of a sudden just like jerked the wheel to the left, and we rolled the shit out of the go-kart.
I knew you were going to say this, but that wasn't the Barbie thing. Yes, but I didn't do that when we were doing Jackass. I just
I don't know if that was from Jackass, but that
it was because I realized I could do that by myself. If I did that, I could do like a donut.
Yeah,
like
drifting.
It's
and
because
I was like, but I didn't. With my little kid brain, I didn't consider the weight differentiation with having a passenger. So like after I did it a couple times, I told you to get in the go-kart because I wanted to show you something, and then I did that, and then I rolled the go-kart like multiple times. You got thrown out of the go-kart. I stayed in it I remember I stayed like sat because I think I just had like death grip on the steering wheel.
No.
And I literally rolled with the cart like 2 or 3 times, landed on my side, and I found my fucking thumb wrestler that I lost like a year before. It was in the yard. It was literally like inches from my face. It was
Silver
like
lining.
Yeah.
fairy tale.
And I grabbed when we went over. It's the reason that you could do that is because the motor was behind the passenger seat to compensate for just one driver, one person in the
Yeah.
go-kart. So with me in it,
God.
who's like at that time was like maybe twice your size, like
Oh my
there was
God.
way more weight. And what I did is instinctively I was like going out of the go-kart, so I grabbed the roll bar and we slammed on, and we basically rolled over on my hand like with the roll bar like
Ouch.
Yeah.
pinched, and
And
that was like.
Did you break your wrist or
You
did
know
you
what?
just sprain it?
That's another thing about our parents. They were kind of like, "Hey, you guys."
might have, but
Yeah, like literally, what happened was TJ or Sarah they were supposed to get like. We went to the pediatrician for a yearly checkup for them, and the doctor did whatever they had to do to them, and then I was in the room, and my mom was just like, "So what do you think about this hand? Is it broken or what?" And the guy was like, basically it was just like a spot check, like, yeah, there's bruising on the knuckles, so that typically means it's broken. And so she was like, "So what should we do?" And he's like, "Well, there's not really much you can do." So it was just like we just like got like a wrist
I think you
guard.
wore, yeah.
I wore like a wrist brace thing, but like nothing for my fingers.
That's
And
hilarious.
yeah,
Um,
So-
Oh, by the way, is my kid
Commando.
gonna die?
yeah.
it
Is he gonna
sounds
lose
like
his hand?
you guys are making an incredible #1 action film in the United States.
We did do
But
that.
let's
actually.
But speaking of #1 action
What you mean?
films, say it.
The movie this week is
Yes.
Who Killed Captain Alex? Yeah. Commando. That's my first note.
The movie is Who Killed Captain Alex.
What do we got?
Yeah, I'll get to my show next time. The movie is Who Killed Captain Alex, from 2010, directed by Nabwana Isaac Geoffrey Godfrey, one of those orientations. Nabwana Isaac Geoffrey Godfrey. That's it. And beyond ultra low budget movie, an action movie, following the Uganda People's Defense Force and Tiger Mafia. Starts out following Captain Alex before he is killed by Tiger Mafia after he abducts the brother of Richard, the leader of Tiger Mafia, and then Richard gets revenge by killing. Well, not necessarily.
We don't know who killed Captain.
We don't know who killed Captain.
We don't
Alex.
know.
And then it kind of escalates into an all-out war between the Uganda People's Defense Force and Tiger Mafia. And
And like the government, I think, shows up eventually, right?
I think
Yeah,
I
at
think
the
that's
end.
like kind of what I think the Uganda's it's like some sort of military, something like that.
The part at the end of the movie when they show like actual war footage, that's like
Yeah.
yeah, actual like
Really?
rioting.
I didn't catch
people
that.
like
on the
this-
TV. They're showing
Yeah.
like
I
the
realized
TV and there's
I
like
didn't.
Yeah,
it
it's
didn't,
like
it didn't
legit
register for
footage.
me.
It's
that
like
was
people
just,
running
like-
down the street.
that was actual like riots in Kampala that was
Oh my
happening when the
God.
movie was going on. Like
Yeah.
for
Oh.
real.
Oh my fucking
So
God.
I watched a video, or most of a video after this. I think it was from 2012, like it was Vice or something. Somebody went over there and like did a video on
I
this guy.
saw that. I think I said it in my watch later.
He like right towards the beginning he says, "I have done 40 movies in the last 8 years." I was just like, "Oh, damn, dude." They're all like in the same time, like just over an hour, like an hour 10. But yeah, it's like you see his like setup. He's like this is my editing area, and he's got like skeletons of computers, and he's like, basically a computer is good for one edit, and then I have to like get a new computer. Like they're
Well,
like
that's-
these
yeah,
old like shitty desktops.
Well, that's
Yeah.
kind of what happened with this movie, and so I started watching it. It is for free on YouTube from the Wakaliwood? Is that what they
Yeah,
call?
Hollywood Studios.
Yeah. So the movie's free on YouTube to watch. There's a paid
don't-
version as well.
I'm sorry, Nick. You don't remember that it's called Wakaliwood?
That is true. He does say
After
it.
VJ Emmy tells you like a half
So
dozen
many
times.
times.
middle of an action scene. Wakaliwood action film. Who killed Captain Alex? The movie
Who
you're
killed
watching.
Captain Action? Yeah. The movie is called Who Killed Captain Action Alex. It really reminded me of like right before like you're listening to like a song, like pretty much rap music, but it's like Jungle Beats, holla at me, or like some like tag for like a producer that like makes beats, like
Yeah.
Right, like a watermark.
BeatStars.com.
BeatStars.
Yeah, like it's a watermark. Like you didn't pay for this beat,
Yeah.
so we're gonna put
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like my first note. It was like, so this movie, the voice that we're doing. Hi, I'm speaking to you, the audience. The the voice that we're doing. This movie has what they affectionately call a VJ or like a video DJ essentially.
Video Joker. is
Video
what it stands
Joker.
for.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're watching the movie, and there's a guy basically providing color commentary the entire movie.
Slash translation.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
everything.
He's like putting words in their mouth sometimes, like
Yeah, but then he'll
Yeah.
also just he'll riff on the movie as well,
Yeah.
and like
Very strange.
So I think that so what happened was there existed a copy of this movie that didn't have that, and he
Yeah.
essentially lost it because he erased his computer because he was starting work on his next movie and
Okay.
lost. So like I'm pretty sure the only copy that exists is like basically the DVD copy, and that's what this is.
Oh my god, I didn't
Yeah.
catch that.
I think my favorite thing that he did was like maybe with like a quarter of the movie left, he just goes, "Oh,
Dude, I didn't hear it.
He went,
Oh.
"Oh, I think I ate," and then like 30 seconds later, you hear him go, and he just like sniffs, and you're just like, "What?"
I didn't
catch
catch that part.
Yeah, I was just like, dude, he really ran out of juice here.
I think my favorite, just because of the perfect timing, was when Bruce Yu is with Richard's wife that he shot, and she's like, VJ Emmy as her or whatever is like, "Can I have some of your fish?" And then it like does that zoom in on Bruce Yu, and it's such perfect timing. He goes, "What the fuck?"
Yep.
Yeah, it cuts out. Yeah, it was like an Instagram like video, like
Yeah.
it was
I
like
have that in my
so
notes.
perfect.
What I guess since we're on it, I'm sure we'll come back to him. But what was your guys' take on VJ Emmy? Because at first, I was and I knew the status. I knew I knew that was how the movie was, and I was really worried at first. I was like,
I did not know that. I was so confused.
Yeah,
and I wasn't like a fan of it for like the first like 5 minutes, but he quickly grew on me.
it was bad.
but
It
at
was bad
first-
at the beginning.
I feel like at first too, he was probably doing the most talking. Like there was
Yeah.
moments where like there would be subtitles, and it would just let the people say what they did. There was sometimes where they would be talking, there would be no subtitles. Sometimes they would be talking, there would be no subtitles, but he would be talking for them. Sometimes there would be subtitles, and then he would be saying something completely different. And it was just really just like jarring at first, but I grew to love VJ Emmy.
Yeah.
He's great.
At first, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch this movie like this. And then after
And then you were like, oh, I don't have an option.
well, yeah, and like after I hit that threshold, I kind of like Stockholm syndrome to myself into being like, I cannot picture this movie any other way. Like
me neither.
it became so integral that I was like, I can't imagine
for
this
real.
movie without this. This is
There
that's
was-
what makes it amazing.
I'll go a step further and say I don't know if I can watch another movie ever again.
I almost brought that up. I was gonna say not every movie, but I definitely think there's directors like someone like Michael Bay. I feel like I could genuinely, for real, enjoy new Michael Bay movies if he has a VJ attached to it.
Oh.
Like,
Dude,
it would make movies like that so much better.
Dude, fucking Pirates of the Caribbean. DJ.
Pirate magic.
I mean,
Jack Sparrow.
it's basic. It's
Bumble
like, kind of like
Clot.
a weird. It's like a weird hybrid between like a hype man, but also like Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
like a riff
yeah.
tracks. Just like
Yeah.
it's like you literally have like a DJ who's like hyping the movie up, but also like talking shit about it and like cracking jokes and like
Yeah.
what
At the
he's just like
very
like
That's
the very beginning when Captain Alex like walks away, he's like, "Oh no, I like men." Ha ha ha. Like he's like
Yeah.
it's like literally putting words in his mouth like okay.
just making shit up. But then other parts, it was really nice because he would actually say, like, this is what just happened. And you're like, okay, thank you, VJ.
Yeah.
I needed that because I didn't follow that at all.
So apparently,
yes.
like in Uganda, like the movie theaters have actual like
That's-
VJs there.
That's what I was
Yeah.
literally just going to bring up. Yeah.
oh
uh-huh.
really?
They are like live performers that
Yeah.
that they have at their theaters. Yeah.
He kind of says that. He says like, "This is how we watch movies in Uganda."
yeah.
He basically
He says
that's
that. It's like a lot
Yeah.
of stuff.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know.
Because I'm imagining like not a lot of like you probably can't find a bunch of fucking like official translations into Swahili, like of like
Right,
regular
yeah.
movies, so you got to
Yeah.
have the guy up there who's like, did y'all ever do that, like put on a movie, like my friends and I, we always put on one of the like fucking Power Rangers movies and then mute it and then just like supply the dialogue ourselves for the whole movie.
I've never
I feel like you
never
need a
done
guy-
that myself, but I've heard of like
Oh,
like
I-
doing
I
that like
yeah,
like
so
riff
I would-
like
yeah. So it's like if you can't understand the movie, it's in a different language. It'd be nice to have a VJ there to kind of like give it the context.
Yeah, see, my question is like how many times did this guy watch the movie to where he can like hit every beat like he does? Like he hits it as it's happening.
yeah. There's
Like-
yeah.
I mean, there's
another
people
one.
who do that with like Rocky Horror, like they like practice it. So if that's
That's
like,
what I'm
his
saying.
job, then
Either that or he just like watched it and commented and then they like trimmed off, like they backed up the audio so that it like matched up
Yeah.
with the
there's
the
a
things.
there's a couple times where that's perfect. Where I think I have it written down like during one of the fight, or like I like how even like before one of the fight scenes he's like, okay, a fight scene's coming up soon. Like don't
Yeah.
people. But there's one where there's like a fight scene where it's like one guy gets hit and he says action-packed movie, and then one guy gets punched in the face and he just says Ugandan kiss. Like, I was laughing
God.
so hard I couldn't. It was so just absolutely wild.
Yeah, you know
So
how
fucking
Moose and I were saying that we would like listen to stuff in the background? Like this is a perfect like movie to like
Yes,
listen to
I
in the
agree.
background.
yeah.
Just cuz like him just like talking about it, it's just like, okay, that's good enough. I don't need to see it. It's basically just guys going like this the whole time with guns.
With their
With their
wooden guns, and
Yeah.
PVC guns,
that are
Wooden
painted
bullets.
black.
that was so cool. The
that
wooden
it
bullet,
looked so
like,
it looked
bandolier.
good. It looked good.
It looked good, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's why, like, just beyond like it being entertaining, it's like it was just like I fucking love it. Like just the experience of like watching these guys and just like this is literally like this dude went to his village and like there's a shitload of people in it. So it's like I just love I feel like I have seen this movie somewhere of like a band of misfits making an ultra low budget action movie, and just like I imagine just like everybody's just so gung ho. It just seemed like everybody was having so much fun.
Oh yeah.
With the movie, like through
Oh,
and
yeah.
through. It just feels so like pure. It's a movie that makes me happy. Like, and it
Well, yeah.
like reminded me so much of like, especially the Nerf series that we started to shoot. Nick, you were in that for a little bit. We did an episode that I never actually ended up editing, but like that, or like our action movies like Brawl, like running through the woods with guns shooting at each other. Like it really took me back. It was just such a fun time, like because of that, but also because the movie itself was really entertaining.
Yeah, I was reading up about it, and like I guess because like there's a lot of interesting like CGI choices and like green screen choices that are like, but it's like you can't
CGI
like
what?
Those were real.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. No, this is #1 action movie. It was all real. Yeah. They like I was reading like they filled condoms with like food coloring, and then like strapped into each other's chests, so that they like these like makeshift squibs basically for like. So like there were some practical effects, and like another thing that I noticed, I don't know, I feel like I've seen some like really low budget action movies where it's just like the fighting is very like
Yeah.
I know
in this movie, the choreography and like the fight scenes, like everyone was on top of their game. It looked pretty good.
Like it looked like people actually like trained and learned how to like do decent combat.
They did.
And like on top of that, there's legitimate good cinematography in this movie. Like the action scenes are very like composed and very like coherent in the way that a lot of modern action movies aren't, where they make a million cuts so that you can hardly see what's even going on. Here it just fucking runs and lets the action go, and it's good. Like all the action stuff is pretty great. And there's actually, speaking of the effects too, sorry, I'll let off, but
you're good.
There was one that actually got me. I had to rewind and like show Kalia again. It's where the dude like went up behind someone else and like stabbed him in the throat. I was like, oh shit, that actually kind of worked. Mm-hmm. Like he's obviously probably holding the condom, I guess, in his hand, and then he just like explodes it when he stabs him. But like, it was pretty good. It was like good, pretty convincing. Yeah.
In that making of thing, they actually show like, I don't know, it's maybe like 12 little kids, and they're doing like kung fu, you know, like the tai chi looking shit. Like they're doing that. Like they definitely train. Like it's not like that guy probably. I forget what his name was. Captain Alex's brother.
Oh.
Nabwana?
Oh, Bruce Yu.
Bruce Yu, yeah.
Bruce Yu.
Ugandan Bruce Lee.
I wouldn't be surprised if he like is like the teacher or the master of. You know,
maybe.
Oh yeah, I would be surprised. Area. There's so many good lines though. When it's like the one, I think she's the one that eventually like she's for the Tiger Mafia, but like there's a scene where like she's kind of strung up by her arms, and he's just like,
the wife.
Marry me or die, and then he like just slaps her. Just says, "Welcome to Uganda." It's like she probably lives there, dude.
Oh yeah, that's like the flashback, right?
Yeah.
I mean I think
there's another good like where I think it's Richard just tells someone to suck his dick, and it was just a very good like.
Well, there's my two favorite lines. There's one. I'm pretty sure it's Richard. He says, "I have many wives, but only one brother," and it's like
that's a good one. Wait, so what's your other before you say your other favorite line? I want to know if we have the same because there's one line in this entire movie that is like I want a cross stitch of it. I want to hang it on my wall.
Okay, I think it might be VJ Emmy line. I can't remember. I just wrote it. It said
it wasn't a VJ Emmy line.
Oh, it's your wife.
Oh no,
I thought that was a goat, and like that was like one of the first like towards the beginning. I was like, what is this?
I think it's like when the wife comes back, but he says, "Bitch, how dare you still live?"
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's
fucking good.
I was like, I paused the movie because I had to write that down word for word because I was like, that is such a good line.
Bitch, why do you still live?
How dare you still live?
Yeah, how dare you?
Dinosaurs.
How dare you have the audacity
Okay.
to live.
He fights drugs and uses drugs.
Yeah, the guy is like stoned out of his fucking mind, and he's like in the military, like, oh, he's supposed to be policing it, but no, he actually smokes. This guy burns trees.
Did you guys notice the music? You had
Yes.
to notice at least one of them.
Yes.
Did.
The first
karaoke
time I like,
track.
the first time I
Yeah.
vaguely recognized it, and then the second time it played, I was like, "Oh my god, this is Kiss from a Rose."
There's two. There's Kiss from a Rose, but before that, they also do Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they actually say
One of the
"Mamma
guys
Mia"
says-
in the movie
Yeah,
too.
one of the guys
He
says
does.
"Mamma Mia."
There's another part where he said where VJ Emmy, and this could have just been a VJ. It could have just been unrelated, but he also said "Gimme, gimme, gimme" really quickly, like, which is another ABBA song. And
Oh, okay.
in another one, because I'll just say it now. I watched Bad Black as well. Just
You
shortly
did?
before I did, because
Oh,
VJ Emmy
nice.
told me to. You guys
did.
didn't catch that?
You
He
did
said
say
to
that.
watch it.
That's
so.
true.
You
That
did
is
say that.
true. He did.
And he in that one, VJ Emmy says the winner takes it all, which is also another ABBA song.
Interesting.
By the way, there's a lot of you guys should check out Bad Black too. It's also on their YouTube. It's
Yeah,
pretty
it
good.
was like the next recommended video.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm just gonna get what Hollywood like recommendations for like.
Yeah, your
a month
YouTube
now.
algorithm is just gonna be this now.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I think probably the only thing I didn't really like about it is the action scenes, like the gunfire, mainly just like the gunfire scenes, way too long, and not like enough.
It's
like
an action-packed movie.
it's, I guess,
What do you
but
want?
I mean, they could have just been
I will say-
shooting the whole movie. It was just like, I don't know. There was, especially like the last one, I was just like zoned out. I
Yeah.
was kind of like, come on.
I'll give you that. It was like a little hard to follow. I mean, in a different way than the rest of the movie, is a little hard to follow. Yeah, except for the stuff with like the helicopter at the end. I do kind of
Yeah.
agree that like that gunfight could have been toned down a little bit. The best stuff, especially, is the like hand-to-hand combat. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's
Not the-
actually it's the opening scene in Bad Black. There's like a car motorcycle chase, and it's mostly done practically.
Oh,
There's like
okay.
a part where the car crashes, and it's like clearly, like, you can clearly tell what's fake, but like even that looks pretty good. The shots that they're able to get in that is pretty good.
Yeah, I'll give the movie that, like, especially like in the context of like seeing the dude's editing rig and it's just like spare parts, computer parts. The fact that like even with how bad some of the visual effects are, they look better than like Neil Breen's. They look way more realistic and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, even because I feel like a big difference is like when the helicopter hits the building and the building like explodes. I feel like in a normal bad movie, it's just a stock explosion, but like you can still see the building. In this, it's like
building kinda
obviously
crumples.
Yeah.
like there's actual like the building crumples. The fire is much more dynamic looking. Like they tried instead of just like just throw on one of the stock explosion clips and then we'll key it out and then let's just keep going. You know.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like through and through, like in every like facet, it's like you can tell that they tried, and that's why
Yeah.
it's so like
Yeah.
charming, like
It's
just through and
great.
through.
I was trying to explain it to our brother, and I compared it to the fake trailer that I made for Ungrateful Dead, Deletion, with like the kind of like intentionally bad green screen where like there's like one where I'm supposed to be like hanging off a ledge and then I fall into this like
It's like a cityscape or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
hanging off a building.
Yeah, it's very, very similar to that, and it's it's not easy. Like for how bad that looks, like that's not easy. I could tell even on like some of like the gunfire, like the actual like smoke and fire and shit coming out of the guns. Like it moved, like he keyframed it, like, and it like it tracked with the barrel, and the angles seemed to change on the fire as well, as opposed to like when we did I think Andy edited it, but we did like a
Ungrateful Dad?
No, it was Week with Dad. It's the one where Isaiah like is playing
our
a young
platoon
dad,
shot?
and he gets the platoon shot, and there's like blood coming from like weird angles where it's like that doesn't make sense, but it was just like funny, so like it makes sense.
Yeah, it's over the top.
Yeah.
It's another like, just the way that like VJ Emmy keeps reminding you of who like the factions are, or like there was one part where he does the thing that we tried as hard as we could not to do during Ungrateful Dead. There's like a scene where someone like gets their neck snapped or whatever, and VJ Emmy does like the he does the sound effect with his voice.
Oh yeah.
Does he just go like crack or?
Yeah.
No, it's like what it's like whenever we would do like a fight scene, you do like the
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
there's
Yeah.
like a couple scenes where he like emulates the sound of like the neck snapping with his mouth, just like he's like so jazzed about what's going on that he just like like when the guy gets his neck snapped. And also his laugh throughout, just like it's seemingly random stuff too. It's
Yeah,
That's my best attempt.
that's one of my thing. That's one of the things that I like. I think TJ kind of said it earlier, but like, I don't know how big this like town is, but like it feels like a very like family thing. Like even VJ Emmy feels like part of the family. Like the way he hypes it, it's not just like he was paid $50 to watch this movie and like
he's stoked
say some shit over it. Like he's like really like who killed Captain Alex is the movie. And like he's really like, hey, this is a thing that my bros made, and like I'm super hyped about it, and you guys should be hype about it, and like check out this like #1 action movie with he just like that's what I like about it.
Yeah, and like he just like, it seems like he's like a true entertainer in the fact that like it really seems like altruistic in a way where like he just wants to, like I saw like I don't remember what it was, some other video that I watched like a couple sort of supplementary videos on it, and it was the director saying like, you know, I just put these up on my YouTube for free because I just want anybody to see my movie, like I want to like entertain people. And I checked on the wiki for the thing, if you get like the Blu-ray, it says it comes with subtitles in 40 languages.
Yeah.
Wow.
And an introduction by the director for 14 countries. So like that's like more than actual movies like have translations. It's insane.
Except
for, like
it's probably just VJ Emmy like saying like certain phrases, because he even in this version on YouTube he would say things in like other languages that I don't know what they were. I couldn't like hear it. So he's probably just like watching them, and he'll say a word in like one word in Chinese or something, or one word in Japanese. It's like, oh, this is in 40 different languages.
Yeah, this the other thing that like I thought of, it almost made me think of like Everything is Illuminated. God, what's the Ukrainian guy's name? Alex.
Yeah.
The way that this
Captain
Alex. that whoa,
it's in the same universe.
Well, it's just like Alex in Everything is Illuminated. It has this very like, I guess, narrow view of like American culture, but it's like charming. And I think this movie has that too, where it's again, it's like yeah, look, we can make action movies too, and it's very obviously like influenced by like American culture and American movies. And I think that's it's almost like a love letter to those style of movies where like there might be like there's like cultural differences between like the United States and Uganda, but like they tried their best to like, this is our interpretation of like the culture of like your movies, and this is like kind of like our version of it. And I think I really really like that too.
It's really like when we would shoot videos and all of our scenes would be either in the woods or at like our childhood house, like because we didn't have access to other locations.
Yeah.
That's what their locations felt like. We're just like, okay, these are the only locations we have. We have the jungle, we have this bar thing, and then we have this like city
The
center
house
thing.
with like the brick wall that's kind of busted.
Yeah, and
that they
the
used
place
a lot.
like the school, I think, like I don't know where the kung fu like fight happens. That and then they put
Everyone
like
in
a
Uganda knows
partition
kung
up.
fu.
Yeah, they put like a partition up, and then that was like where Richard's like hideout was, where he would like smack people around and stuff. And then there was like this city center that was like flooded, and I really like that part. It was like towards the beginning where the military shows up, and it's like, I don't know, like shin deep water, and they're like walking through, and they're like, "This is where we'll
that
put
was
the
really interesting. Like
we'll
I
put
thought
the
that was kind of a
library
neat
here,"
spot.
and then he takes like 3 steps over, and he's like, "This is where we'll put the soccer field," and it's like, bro, there's not enough room for that shit.
Fuck. Oh yeah, you talking about like cultural differences just reminded me of the Russian mercenary.
Oh,
just
yeah.
another dude.
See,
but
Puffs?
but you know
Puffs, I
what?
think
Bringing up American like action movies, they're like huge fans of like 80s action movies, like like Schwarzenegger. They are, I know it's because of in Bad Black. I don't think it's the character's actual name, but VJ Emmy keeps calling one character Swaz, and he's like, Swaz is Ugandan for Schwarzenegger, and so he just calls that guy Schwarzenegger. And then he calls another dude Cobra.
Sylvester Stallone's character. Yeah.
Yeah. Which it made me think, I was like, well, you know what? There's all those fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger movies where he's like, yeah, I'm an American from America, and I talk like this. Like, so who are we to talk, really?
Yeah.
Fuck them. They want to have a Russian mercenary.
Yeah,
Go
who
for it.
cares? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that definitely helped VJ Emmy, like, saying, like, this guy's a mercenary. Like, okay, I wouldn't have known that from, like, the actual plot, because it's not explained at all. It's
No,
not.
that guy says it. He's like, what does he say? He has a great line. He's like, what is this? I'm a mercenary. I came here to kill. If I don't have anybody to kill, I get bored or something like that.
Yeah, it's like I don't have a
okay.
reason to live.
But that was,
Yeah,
later. I mean, that wasn't, like, the first time you see
It wasn't
like,
at the first. Yeah.
No, the first time you see him, the only difference is there's the guy's wearing
got,
camo
like, that
shirts.
M60 thing.
Yeah, with
he's the one with the bandoliers.
Yeah. So there's the guys with the camo shirts. Then there's the other guys that I think are pretty much just wearing black shirts. And then he's wearing a red shirt. That's basically it. Like, okay, he's the mercenary because he wears red shirts.
Yeah.
That's just like
Yeah, pretty much.
defined colors.
Partway through, we were like, mainly with Richard. I was like, is he like actually like not a bad actor? I couldn't tell at some points. Not, but like compared to the other bad movies, like something like Ben and Arthur, I was like, at least people are like emoting in this movie, you know?
Yeah.
Like, especially Richard, like he was putting forth a lot of like feeling, whether it was like actually good, because you know it's like kind of a thing like language barrier, it's harder to like tell, but it was decent at least.
Was Richard the one that like saw the news brought? No, who's
Richard's like the main antagonist, I guess.
Yeah, he was the one who would slap
he's the
people
one who
around
says,
and
who killed Captain Alex? Who? He says like directly
Yeah.
to the camera.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that like I think it was him in the scene. It was like even mafias need to relax.
Yeah.
He's like sitting and he turns on the TV, and then like the news bulletin shows up, and it's just like Richard's brother has been killed or captured, and he like busts the TV. That was like another moment where it was obvious that they're like superimposing like the news broadcast on the TV.
Yeah.
When he like knocks the TV off, the screen tracks with the TV like before it hits the ground and breaks. Like
Yeah. No,
effort was put in.
Just putting that like I know it was actually just a still when they showed like the TV like stuff being played on TV. The TV part of that was just a still. but like it's still to like crop it out and like put that in, and there was like, I don't know, it was, that part was definitely funny, like the new, like where she was like talking into a microphone, or maybe that was the one where she was just like reading from papers, but you could see the obvious cuts where it's like, okay, she just like forgot her line and they cut it someplace else, but like I mean, it's all good. But another VJ Emmy line I want to point out is when they're like, it's towards the end where like they're climbing over this wall, and there's this one of the girls climbs over the wall, and they're like, "Oh, follow the panties." And then he goes, "Tiger Mafia has the best panties."
Yep, I remember that. Oh my god.
It's just like, ooh, that's a little creepy, but
or like the other scene where like he like hijacks the news broadcast and then just like starts like capping people.
Yeah,
and then afterwards he like hands the mic back and she's just like, "So that concludes our broadcast."
yeah.
Like, you know, professional.
Just super kick, which is kept reminding me of like Kick Puncher from Community.
Kick Puncher. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that he's on the news and like he's asking people like they can get a response to him before he can shoot these people. He's like tell me, bang, like how like the people are gonna talk back to him through the camera or something like that. There's another VJ Emmy line, and I'm guessing it's the other way around, where I thought he was referencing Ugandan Knuckles. Do you guys know that
no,
meme?
So this is where it comes from.
I just looked it up. It says it's often used as an avatar by players in the multiplayer game VR chat who repeat phrases like "Do you know the way?" and memes associated with the country Uganda, most notably the film Who Killed Captain Alex.
Yeah, so
they took it. So I think they took it from this. I thought it was the other way around, like he was referencing that, but yeah, I think you got VJ Emmy, because there's a line where he says, I think he says, "Do you know the way?" at another point, but he was like, "He knows the way." Of the gun, and I was like, that was a really weird phrasing. But
yeah. So the Ugandan Knuckles meme comes from this movie, right?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Because as soon as I heard that, like, my ears perked up, and I was like, "Wait, why do I know that?" And because that was like a very 2016 thing. I think that was like when
something
that was
like that.
Yeah, that was like at like the height of its popularity. It was like the little kind of gumpy looking Knuckles, and it was like VR chat was the game.
Yeah.
And I remember it like there were like a bunch of like think piece articles about like the new problematic trend in VR is like the Ugandan Knuckles, and it's I don't know. I see that. I understand that. I think at the time I was like, if you do this, you are a racist piece of shit. And now I'm just like, it's kind of funny. I don't know. I don't know where I'd stand on that now.
Yeah, same. I almost like wasn't sure if I wanted to bring it up because I'm like, I don't know if that's touchy, but because it is like, I can see. I think the issue with it is I can see people like racist 4chan trolls who do that because they think it's funny because they're doing like an African accent, but also like inherently it doesn't feel offensive. But I think people can like they do make it, so I don't know. But inherently it's just they're just I don't know.
Well, it's like
too far into it.
I mean, it's like the glass shark, the my brother and me bit that like you can't post about glass shark in like any of the Facebook groups because Justin does a sort of like da boy in the water like kind of accent,
and what is that tied to?
To me, it sounds more like Southern like Creole almost. But I guess it's like vaguely African sounding.
I forgot you told me about that. I think that is such fucking bullshit. Like shit like that should not count. Like he was just doing like a funny voice, and then people said it was like an African accent, but it's like, no, he's doing a shark, and he's
Yeah.
just probably coming up with like a funny, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Muddy waters.
I mean, there
was
is.
tread into.
Yeah, that's kind of a different topic, I guess. But yeah, there's definitely things that like, I mean, there's words that are, yeah, like inherently not racist, but they become racist because racist people use them as like,
Yeah.
you know, like even
Yeah.
the okay hand gesture, like that's for years and years and years was just like, hey,
Okay.
that just means okay, but like now it means white power, so it's like, okay, well now it just became racist and you just ruined it. So
Yeah.
the
or
only
like
way
if-
it's acceptable now is if it's like this under your hip.
yeah,
I always was just like, oh yeah, that's the whatever, like the game that you play. You're like, hey, look at this. Oh, you looked at it, and I get to hit you in the arm. I guess I just always thought that's what that was.
yeah.
Dinosaurs. I wanted to say that one too. That was
Dinosaurs. See, when
such a good
I watched it, I had an ad that
Uh-huh.
hit as soon as he said dinosaurs. I got like an ad instantly, and it was like I got whiplash.
Speaking of that, I didn't pause it and like zoom in or anything, but I swear one of the guys was wearing a camo shirt that had like it was like a lighter color, but it had like a decal on it. Like pretty much most of them were wearing just like basic like camo shirts, like nothing interesting about it. One guy was wearing a camo shirt that was a different color, and it had a white like screen printed like design on it, and I swear it was Jurassic Park, but I'm not certain.
Oh.
And I forgot to go back and like check it out, but I'm almost positive it was some kind of Jurassic Park thing, and yeah.
Huh.
I almost wondered like if that was the inspiration for dinosaurs.
Did you guys notice? Speaking of costuming, did you guys notice the Spider-Man mask guy?
Yeah,
like randomly in one of the scenes.
He was probably a mercenary too, to be honest. That's
Yeah,
his
probably
thing.
that's why he was wearing red.
Yeah, he was wearing red.
Well, I feel like was that a point that someone else brought up, or was I don't know where I read it. I think I might have read it on the Wikipedia article for it. But like, yeah, a lot of those people are just like people in his community, and like they provided their own costumes. So it was just like,
Oh yeah.
they're like, oh, do you have a mask? Spider-Man mask. Nah, that'll do. Like that's
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah, I'm sure
That-
like regular like ski masks are not very common, you know.
Yeah,
Like-
that's true. That's kind of what I meant at first, where it just seemed like he literally was like, people were just like, "Fuck yeah, I want to be in a movie. Let's do
Yeah.
it." Like, it just seemed like everybody was so like down.
Yeah. It really feels like a movie that we would have made, just like
Yeah.
whatever costumes you have in like a bucket, Halloween costumes
kinda-
that you have in a bucket in your basement, and then like
I mean,
your
no budget
dad's
films
house.
is kind of like all we've ever really done is just like
yeah.
whatever we've, or you know, Week with Dad. Oh, you got this wheelchair. Wow, let's integrate that in some way, or even like Quincy, where like I went and got like one of my mom's bathrobes and towels. It's
Yeah.
just like, all right, we had this idea and like let's just go on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I fucking forgot about Quincy. Shit.
So good.
This makes me want to like go back and like I don't know, maybe even Ungrateful Dead, but do like our own VJ take on like one of
Oh,
our
shit.
shorts and just like hammer it. Like I don't know if we could get away with doing Ungrateful Dead because it's long, and I don't know if we have that much fuel. But like,
Yeah?
something maybe like in the 10-minute range, like one of our film festival submissions.
That's what I'm saying, man. I think there's, you know, because like all these movies come with like bonus features and like director tracks, like or director's commentary. I would love to see a cultural shift in American movies where like there's a hype man VJ Emmy style track
Yeah.
that's like just like an optional audio track that's just like
That would be
someone
awesome.
hyping up the movie and like just
Yeah.
you know adding like you know commentary and jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Director's commentary, actor's commentary, hype track.
Yeah.
And it's just some random dude too. He's just like he's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
the director's brother's like neighbor's friend or something.
Yeah, they did a sequel, but that was one that got lost too. So then they set up a Kickstarter to redo the sequel. The original title was Tebatu Sasula, which means those who are screwed over. And then the redone one is Tebatu Sasula Ebola. And the best part of this is the Kickstarter is for $160.
Oh,
It's
what?
so it's adorable.
Did you
It's
see how
so
much
perfect.
it raised? Did you
Is
see
it-
it raised
what?
like $13,000?
Yeah, 13,000.
Oh,
yeah.
hell yeah. That's
No,
rad.
it's not on their YouTube, I don't think. I think the only ones they have is Bad Black and Who Killed Captain Alex.
I was actually thinking that. I saw something in the Vice video that I saw. Something about that. Something about like not donating money necessarily, but there is like this. I can't remember if he was from America or what, but like some white dude just like goes over and he shoots movies with them now. But there was some way to like get them money, but then I was thinking about it and I was like, I was looking at their videos, and a lot of their videos, like Bad Black, has like 486,000 views.
Mm-hmm.
Like
They do have a ton of videos on their YouTube.
yeah,
Do
and
they?
they
I'll have to
have
look through
like
those.
they
I watched
have
a couple
like
of those, too.
hundreds of thousands of views. Like oh no, Tabata Tasula. Oh wait, that's just a trailer.
Yeah, they have a lot of trailers, but yeah.
It's a 41-second video and it's got 2 million views. Who Killed Captain Alex? Original trailer, 3.6 million views. Who Killed Captain Alex? 6 million views. Like he's
Did you
got
see,
some
they
income
have,
from YouTube, which is pretty dope.
They have Tebatu Sasula Red Band trailer. Not Red Band, but Red Band trailer.
Oh. I mean, some of these fucking trailers, like, just like, there's one that's called Delta Force Awakens.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
It's got Chuck Norris on it for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everyone a
superstar. Speaking of, though, I ended up partly purely at first I was like, oh, maybe it'll have other like versions, but it doesn't. It has a commentary track, but that's also on their YouTube. But I got the apparently signed I bought the DVD for Who Killed Captain Alex and a t-shirt for With Hollywood just because I wanted to support them.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Oh, that's what it was.
And I'm-
Yep. That's what it was. It was
What?
like the thing that was like a way to like fund them. They were selling like DVDs and shirts
Yeah.
and stuff.
You
They-
gotta wear that
have
on
a
stream.
Oh fuck yes! I'll do an update when I get it. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
a Superstore.
Yeah, I
and
think
speaking
I'm gonna
of-
get something too.
I've been meaning to mention this. It's sold out, but almost everything they have is like What Hollywood branded. But they have a patch it says "You son of a bitch," and it's the Arnold Carl
Oh my
Weathers
word!
muscle arms from Predator. For some reason, that's in their Superstore, even though they didn't make Predator. But you guys should check out the store for real. They have
I'm looking at it right now.
they're done on some sort of canvas. They have hand painted posters. They're
Yeah, I
super expensive. They're
just
$200.
saw that. $200, but hand
they have
painted.
some-
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it looks super cool. There's one for Bad Black especially that looks fucking sweet. It's like an alternative, like I think it was like done by a fan, but it's a sweet ass print. It's really cool.
There's one that's the Eaten Alive in Uganda that looks like really cool too.
That's the one that VJ Emmy was talking up at the end of Bad Black. Yeah, that one looks pretty good. Some of them don't look quite as nice, but that one looks pretty good actually.
Yeah, I
They
don't know.
got
I also
three-quarter
love
sleeve.
the Ferris Buellerization at the end when like the well, speaking of, I guess near the end.
Oh yeah, 'cause
The-
it's like, okay, go home or whatever.
Yeah, because like the end credits were like legitimately touching.
They
When it's
were.
like-
Oh yeah,
When
the
it's like,
grandma.
that
Yeah.
was so great.
Yeah, it's like this whole song about like how his grandma helped him get to where he is.
Mm-hmm.
There's like singing about like tuition was expensive, but you worked hard and helped me get through school. And then the end, it's like the director himself, or was that before or after the credits, where the director shows up and like, I just want everyone to see this movie.
Oh, maybe that's where I saw that thing that I was talking about. Yeah, it's somewhere in there. Well, and then they show like people like they showed him like whittling like the bullets for the bandolier and like showed like everybody like helping out. It was perfect. It was so like,
the behind the
heartwarming.
scenes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, and
okay.
then
I know, and I was
VJ
like, except for some like weird instrument in that, I was like, they should just like he should just write the music instead of using Kiss from a Rose karaoke covers, because it's not half bad like as a song itself too.
Yeah.
What's funny is on this website, the pointer, the mouse is an egg, but then when it hovers over stuff, it's a chicken.
Yeah, it's something you can click on. It's a chicken. Yeah.
It's so good. Oh shit.
That's such a like back in the day when you could like customize your MySpace page and like have all like the different cursors that you wanted. That
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
your cursor's now like a little butterfly, and then when it's on a link, that starts flapping its wings.
Okay, check this out though. I'm looking at the Wakaliwood Supa t-shirt. It says, produced in Uganda when possible. Otherwise, Tiger Mafia based North America. So,
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a dig, but I mean, we kind of deserve it.
I think I'm probably getting mine from Tiger Mafia base.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
I would assume so too, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's an American in Bad Black. He like plays a doctor who
Oh,
this
it's
little
probably the dude. Yeah.
yeah, he's like one of his like producers or whatever. Like he produced
Yeah.
Who Killed. So
Yeah.
what? He gave him $20 or something.
He brought his own clothes.
Yeah. He plays like a doctor in it who this little kid trains to be a commando. Which is pretty fucking great. That's probably like the best part of that movie. But VJ Emmy calls the little kid Wesley Snipes for some fucking reason. Oh yeah, there's a part where after he gets trained to be a commando, he like, what does he do? Oh, like the whole reason he like does this, like turns and like trains to be a commando instead of being a doctor, is because this character steals he has dog tags that were like his dad's, because his dad was a commando, and like a character steals them from him, so he trains and he like murders people with this M60 machine gun rifle that he carries around to get his dog tags back. And then after he gets them, he's like, "Don't fuck with America," or something like that.
Oh shit, this must have been from... Oh, never mind. I clicked on the tour. There's a tour section.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's from 2019. They actually came to the United States, and like there was a screening in Milwaukee, and I was like, it's only a 4-hour drive.
Oh.
4.5 hours.
They must have had for Bad Black like a run at Alamo, because at the end it like during the credits thing it showed like it was the same clip of like the helicopter bombing from Who Killed Captain Alex, but they like superimposed the Alamo Draft House logo over one of the buildings that they blew up.
Yeah.
Oh man, the potential of like a live like VJ Emmy. Like,
dude.
Yeah, it would
if
have
there-
to be live. It would have to be live.
if there was like if there existed a copy. Wait, no, I think there does. I think the Blu-ray.
It said comes without. It has the option or whatever.
Yeah, which like
Right? Yeah.
it's again like I said earlier, like I can't imagine this movie without it, but also the way that it's like so inconsistently subtitled, I think you almost need VJ Emmy to be like Commando
Yeah.
or like Tiger Mafia.
Yeah, I almost got that. And maybe I should have just because of that. I don't know, but again, like I would only watch it with VJME. Yeah, I got the Who Killed Captain Alex one because it said it was signed, and I guess that was the other thing that I kind of
a signed copy
my
is
favorite
sick.
towards that one. Yeah.
Okay. I did you actually click on the Kickstarter for?
No, I didn't. I just saw that
Okay.
through Wikipedia.
Okay.
I don't
I'm
remember
gonna-
if he said it on like the end credits, but did he call it Super Kickstarter?
Oh, I don't know.
Because if he didn't, that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not on this, but okay. I'm going to read a description, and you guess like a reward level for it, like a price for it. Okay.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Okay. Let me read. We'll start with this one. You're an executive producer. That's right. You'll get screen credit as executive producer on the first international action-packed epic from Ramon Film Productions, Tabatasula Ebola. How much do you think that costs?
How many tiers are there? And is this
1,
the highest?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Holy
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
What?
What? Like 18.
So
But I'm not
are
gonna
you
tell you where it's at. I'm not gonna tell you where it's at.
Okay, you're just doing it random. Okay, executive producer,
Yep.
$10.
Nick,
$5.
got it. $5.
Damn it, $5. Damn
$5 to be an executive producer. How rad is
Fuck
that?
me.
Okay, here's the question: does that get you on IMDb?
Yes,
No.
It has to. It has to, right?
I think
Oh
so.
yeah. Oh, that is. I forget.
If the movie is,
For
On
some
a
reason,
movie
I thought
is-
you were like talking
yeah.
about like a reward tier and the thing. Like, no, I guess if you do have a credit as executive producer on the film, I don't see why you couldn't put that on your IMDb.
So that is
That'd be
probably
insane.
one of the cheapest, easiest routes to getting your like own IMDb page.
IMDb page.
Paying $5. Okay, let me do a different one. These are okay. I guess really only the first one is the like funniest, most interesting one. The most expensive one, which had 2 backers, you get all of the other. This is like the highest level. We'd like to offer our deep thanks via personal Skype conversation from everyone in Wakaliwood. And I bet you that does mean everyone. That was $500.
oh, okay. So they do actually have some high up ones.
No way. Oh my word. Okay. Here's one. Action-packed music video. In a band? Collaborate with Nabwana IGG and Wakaliwood on an original music video. It can be produced entirely in Uganda or intercut with live-action footage that you provide. The band can be performing, jumping out of helicopters, or getting eaten by cannibals. Whatever. The song will need to be pre-approved by Wakaliwood. P.S. We love death metal. So basically, he would make you a
1,000.
music video.
1,000.
Nick?
If we're still guessing.
700.
$350. $350
I would fucking do that. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
just to some
Yeah, that-
bullshit song with like garage band loops, just random loops.
Yeah, that'd be
Have him
insane.
do a fucking Deep Undercover or something.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say a
Chalk
UCP
Dust Man.
song. Chalk. Oh, Wakaliwood Chalk Dust Man music video would be the most insane thing that I've ever seen.
It
would be-
fucking amazing.
It's just,
It fits so
helicopter,
perfectly
like-
too.
You could just like send them pictures of like our hometown too, so you could just be
Yeah.
driving in a helicopter flying over town.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. Like that's what this reminds me of is like UCP stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's so
that kind
funny
of shit.
because some of the I don't know if you guys caught it, but some of the helicopter shots like I don't know why they did it this way, but it was guys leaning out of car like windows of like cars. Like I don't know why they decided to have him like lean out of a car, but you could see like the car window, and it's like that seems like exactly like what we would do. It's like the perfect thing. I'm curious if this site is still up though, but
for the kicks. Oh yeah, I don't know how that works. We gotta be on the lookout because if they have their store. I mean, I did order from them. So
if they do another Kickstarter for another movie and they have reward tiers like that, we gotta jump on. I will put some money together to like
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
or like there'd be such a cool like option to like, you know, one of the reward tiers is kind of like what we were saying earlier. Send your movie in, and VJ Emmy will like record a commentary track.
Oh, shit.
That would be such a cool reward tier if they did that.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Fuck.
Yeah. just like send VJ Emmy Camp Lynch and just see what the fuck he says. Like, just see what he comes up with. He would just be like, these white men are crazy.
Dude, there's this bit, and it just made me think of how that movie Bad Black ends. There's like,
no spoilers.
I mean, I hesitate to call it a twist, but okay, I won't say it. But there's like sort of what you can call a twist at the very end. It's like it happens and then it cuts to credits, and like it ends with VJ Emmy going like, he's like, okay, I'll be vague, but he's like, wait, this is that person? I don't understand. And then it just cuts to credits.
Yeah, well, VJ Emmy is perfect because he's like the DJ. He's explaining the story to you, and also he's like an audience surrogate. If something crazy happens that he doesn't get or like is like weird, he'll be like, "Oh, that was weird."
Yeah, we'd have to give him specific direction for Camp Lynch. We'd have to be like, "Okay, watch it just straight the first time, and then we'll give you our like story synopsis, and then he could like work that in."
He'd probably charge an extra $5 for that to watch it twice.
Oh shit!
Watch it again.
Yeah, that's the only reason I would think maybe that wouldn't be one, is because he probably has to watch the movies a few times to
get the beats down.
Yeah, and I mean, assuming he enjoys watching the Hollywood movies himself, I think he would like Ungrateful Dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a similar spirited film, I guess you could say.
Yeah. He and speaking of along those same lines, another thing, not the what do you call it, the after effects, like the blood exploding, but like the blood itself that they made also looked good. I just wanted to mention that. That was another good effect that they had.
Whenever they did any close-ups after someone got like stabbed or shot, and like I was like, oh, that actually looks, like he got shot or he got stabbed or whatever. Like it looked pretty authentic.
Yeah. Another thing that just like made me smile is that the studio, not Hollywood, but like Ramon Film Productions or whatever, Ramon is it's named after his two grandmas. Like his grandma's name is like Rachel and Monica or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So that's another like nice tidbit, I guess. That
I don't know. It's so funny that like the director is like so like wholesome and like soft spoken and nice, and then the movie is just like so raunchy and like I don't know. It's
like you
it's
see him like editing with like his two kids on his lap and stuff.
Yeah.
There's and another like thing for you guys to look forward to in Bad Black is that it not a ton. It's mostly new people, but there is a few carryover actors. Richard's in it for like a scene. Captain Alex is in it a little bit. Bruce Yu's in it a little bit.
Nice.
Oh, okay. I thought, sorry, I thought you said carryover characters, and I was like, okay.
That's
pretty dope.
Yeah.
It's all like a cinematic universe of like, mercenaries and commandos.
Yeah.
BJ Emmy's like, wait, aren't you Richard?
Yeah.
He does call, because whoever the Captain Alex character is just like a dude who's like in a scene, in like an action scene, and then gets shot or whatever. But he refers to him as Captain Alex in Bad
Oh,
Blood.
does he?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And he's like, when he dies, he's like, I guess he killed Captain Alex or something.
That's so good.
I think we've kind of got to the point where we obviously don't have anything else really to add to the movie.
Yeah. I'll go first.
Yeah.
This movie ruled. The movie going experience was like none I've ever really experienced before. And I don't think this movie would be nearly as like memorable and like amazing if it weren't for the VJ Emmy track, which again I originally thought I was gonna hate, and then I can't see this movie without it now. Yeah, I thought, for like having literally pretty much like no budget, the visuals look surprisingly good. The acting is decent in parts. The choreography, the fighting is good. The story, I was trying to follow the best that I could. Luckily,
I was
my
using
guide,
Wikipedia when I was doing my summary.
my guide of guides, my voice, VJ Emmy, was there holding my hand and helping me understand what was going on in the story. It's very memorable, very quotable. It's what every bad movie should be. The director was like very earnest and like very humble, and like it was, the ending was even like touching, him talking about his grandma, like how she helped him out, and like you can tell that the dude is like passionate. So I think all of those things, I guess. Okay, if we're going on the new scale, what's not a dud? What would the...
I do feel like we have to say like, it does feel like weird to like recommend something and just be like, it's not a dud. We do gotta have like an opposite, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
we should
Well, I think-
maybe like explain that real quick too.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
we should. Yeah, I guess we didn't do that on stream.
We discussed it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for our bad movie cup, which is what we pulled this movie from, we, instead of giving number ratings, we're just going to recommend or not. We can, and I think what we're gonna do is, but like, as we were just saying, we might tweak this, but like basically, is it a dud or is it not? Is it
not a
great?
dud.
Is it? I said is it a dud or is it the bomb? But I think that's really fucking corny. So I don't actually want to do that. Yeah, like it basically, like, if it's a dud, it's like not. It's just a bad movie. It's not enjoyable. But like if it's not, it's one that you would like recommend, or
Yeah, so I'm going with a very, very solid, not a dud. This is, buy their merchandise, buy copies of the movie, show your friends. This is like easily like in the rotation of like movies to watch on like bad movie nights, to the point where like kind of like how I feel with The Room. I'm like unironically like enjoy it and like it.
Yeah.
So it's not a dud.
I would definitely say support. I love that there's like a store, cause like, and there's a way to support them, because I really like the idea that like the money is going to these people that like, you can tell that like he's not like hiring actors from like their version of LA or whatever. He's involving his whole like community. So like that money that's going over there is going to like that community. Like, it's stimulating their economy. I'm laughing because it's a Always Sunny thing that I'm thinking of. But I think that's really cool, and hopefully like it does a lot of good. And obviously this guy can like make a living off of this. It appears. They had a Patreon and they were getting like $1,500 a month just from the Patreon.
Oh my god.
Which is that's great. And yeah, obviously it feels like a real like family environment, which is dope. But okay, I know I've been talking like I love this movie the whole time, but like I don't know. There was definitely parts where I was like really just like bored and zoned out, like the just the gunfighting parts, I guess. But it really does seem like I watched most of it by myself, and I think it would be a better experience with like other people. I think it would make a really good drinking game movie because it's like shorter.
Yeah.
It's a little bit shorter. Like drink anytime VJ Emmy says the name of the movie, or he says Uganda or something. Like
he says
There's got to
Command.
be
perfect.
drinking game rules for this. There has.
It has to be. Yeah. So I think for that, like that alone, like it definitely was like funny, and I think rewatching it, like Nick said, like the beginning part with him, I actually stopped it and I was like, oh shit, maybe I should just rent it. I'll just rent it for $2 and like not have this random guy talking over it. I thought it was like a copyright thing, like fair use. Yeah. I mean, slightly, because it would still. I would think they would.
Oh,
get,
you thought
hopefully
you could get
they
rid
would
of
get
me?
some of that money, but like still, like,
true.
yeah. It's not a dud. I mean, I think I would maybe. It depends on the crowd. I would maybe watch Ben and Arthur before this. Depends. Like I said,
really good too.
yeah, it depends on the crowd, I think, and the situation. Yeah. If there's drinks going around, yeah, I think this one's just like
this is probably like a perfect drinking game movie.
Yeah. It's also like abbreviated a little bit. It's like an hour long, so it's like
that is also a blessing. Like
yes,
that like hour long length. It's like it's perfect.
Yeah,
it doesn't need to be like any longer or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, not a dud. Not a strong not a dud, but it's not a dud, I would say.
Yeah, it like obviously I've expressed a few times. I've been reminding you how much I like it. Kind of like
you've
VJ
already
Emmy.
purchased merch.
Number one action movie.
Yeah, I the day of that I watched it, I went out and bought the shirt and the movie. Like
I thought you just did it.
No, I did it right after I saw it.
Oh
and
shit!
I was like,
okay.
It was partly just because I was just interested, and I was like, why not? I do want to support these guys. It's nice to, I don't know, be able to directly support, like, a play that seems just really genuine, and like you're supporting somebody or people doing like something that they love to do. It's really like it's a really like inspiring story, not the story of the movie, but like a story of like a production. It's like that's what movies should be. It really is just like it's like I don't know. It just makes you feel warm, I guess, like the whole experience of Hollywood. And yeah, I like part of the reason that I love it is not just because of the movie. It's all of that like behind the scenes stuff, like we were just talking about. Just that everyone seems really into it, and it's just a really warm environment. I hands down, it's not a dud for me. I also agree. I don't know like if like pound for pound, because like Ben and Arthur, I felt like there really wasn't a dull moment. Like I was pretty entertained throughout. I would agree with Travis that like some parts of this, the action, like the gunfights, yeah, there were other parts where it was just too confusing for me to follow.
Yeah,
I kind of gave up on following the plot really, but I could still follow like scenes in themselves.
Yeah.
Sometimes it got a little too much.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know like where I would put it in comparison to that, but like I also said before, there are legitimately like good aspects, not even just like good bad or bad good. There's legitimate good aspects to this movie where it's like if this dude had a budget, he could make a more comprehensive action film than people in Hollywood. Like this dude has talent for sure. So yes, not a dud, easy. And Moose, who had to clock out, also said not a dud. I don't know if he said anything else. He said, oh no, he just said he would recommend it. Yeah, so not a dud from Moose as well. We all really, really liked it.
Yeah, it's really like the whole family, like community aspect of it that like, really, it would be a really tough call if it one, if it wasn't for VJ Emmy, and if it wasn't the whole Community vibe, it would be like probably not.
Yeah.
It would probably be a slight dud.
It's really weird because it's different, but it's like it's a similar thing to where like The Room only works because Tommy was trying, whereas like his stuff that he's done since then, it's like, oh, he's self-aware, and it's like it doesn't really have the same feel. Or like Ben and Arthur, it works because Sam Malevich thought he was making art. You know, he thought he was making a great movie. You have to have that, and like it's a little different because Hollywood is self-aware, but at the same time, they're making good stuff, and the people themselves aren't like vain, weird, creepy assholes like Tommy Wiseau or Sam Malevich. Like the people behind it seem genuine and nice.
Yeah.
And so it's just like it's just great. Like
That's a very like Big Brother mindset. Like, it's only funny when you're trying. Or when you're not trying. Like, when you're trying to be good, that's when I can mock you. If you're trying to be funny, like, it's not funny to mock you anymore. It's like quintessential
you know what I mean,
like
though, right?
bully. No, I know what you're saying, but I'm just like, you saying it out loud kind of makes me feel like bad about it, because it really feels like that thing of like you're mocking somebody's like best effort when it's like it just seems kind of mean, but that is true. That's what it is.
But how it's different with I'll just say what Hollywood is that in Sam and Arthur, you're laughing at them. I really feel like with Who Killed Captain Alex, you're laughing with them.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
So
exactly.
it's different. You don't feel a little dirty. For
No,
it.
I'm just saying.
For it.
You've kind of tainted The Room for me a touch. Like, I knew that's what it was. I knew that like, everybody knows that like he thought it was going to be the like next like greatest movie ever. And like that infamous tweet, like, oh, Star Wars would have been a dream or whatever. Like, he genuinely thought that he could have directed a Star Wars movie. And like that's funny. But like, you are making fun of this person, and it feels a little mean now. But
well, I feel like that's what the VJ Emmy character is there for, because like VJ Emmy is also, I feel like, making fun of it too. Like he's like I mean, there's parts where he's like explaining the plot, but there's other parts. Yeah, he's like, I'd rather be with a man. Like, just like he's like riffing and like ad libbing and like.
Yeah,
sort of like making fun of like some of the more ridiculous aspects of it as well. So I think,
like I said, I'll try and find the timestamp of it and send it in the thread. But like the part where he just literally makes a fart noise with his mouth, and then he goes, "Oh, it must be something I ate," and then he sniffs. Like, he's clearly like making fun of it.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah,
he's just like trying to entertain people is what he's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
somebody mentioned doing like the drinking game for it. That just gave me an idea that, like, because we kind of talked about doing like special streams or whatever. We should totally do that for the we should do like a live stream for, I don't know, maybe for this or something, but like, I don't know, like a special episode where we do like a live drinking game to like one of the bad movies or whatever.
Do you know if it's on Amazon Prime?
If Who Killed Captain Alex is?
Yeah. Because I know like with Twitch you can do like a watch party, and if you link, because like I was watching someone the other night. I like hopped in to see what they were watching, and they were watching like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And as long as you had your like Amazon Prime account linked with Twitch, all I did was hit join, and it started the movie. It like popped into the movie where they were, and it was the actual movie. And I think it didn't break. Okay,
it's not.
Is it like it didn't break TOS because like Amazon owns Twitch or whatever?
I'll keep that in mind though, because like we don't necessarily have to do this, but it would be an easy one because people can just get it on YouTube. But
I wonder if there's any other ones.
This are again, I think just this and Bad Black, but I could be wrong. Those are just the ones.
Luckily, Kiss from a Rose is a karaoke version, so I don't think we'll get the DMCA either.
Yeah. All right. I will pick from the cup. Then, to shuffle it around. What are the chances that I pull Kung Pao after just adding it?
I'm hoping.
It's not.
Oh, fuck. Damn it.
It's the Philadelphia Story. Another oldie. I think this might be the oldest one. From 1940. Directed by George Cukor. I don't actually know how to pronounce his name. It's an old rom-com. Katharine Hepburn. Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Those another
Well,
Cary
Jimmy.
Grant, I think. Yeah. Yeah. So Philadelphia Story. And it is on HBO Max. So
Oh, nice.
there you go. Yeah. That's I think that concludes this week's episode of There Will Be Duds.
Number one movie podcast.
Yeah. TJ and me on the mic.
TJ.
And joining me as
with
always.
the disclaimer of we are definitely absolutely not the number one movie podcast, but
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We'll make that claim.
it's in the same context
I mean,
of what Collywood
well,
is
I was-
VJ and me saying it.
We'd have to say number one Hastings because you have to have that because they're number one Uganda action movie.
Yeah,
So we're
but I don't
number
even know
one
if that's true.
Hastings, Michigan.
I don't know if that's true.
Maybe. Number one Hastings, Michigan, and Somewhere in Texas movie podcast
Yeah.
combined.
We just
Our
got to narrow
specific
the
locations are four.
We got to
specific
narrow the
locations.
scope so that we can claim it.
Yeah.
Like take the latitude and longitude to like an exact point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been Nick, aka Dr. Funk, number one Twitch streamer in Kalamazoo.
Sitting in my sweaty office. And as always, I'm Travis, aka the Super General.
And also Moose here was at some point.
Yes,
Yes.
he has been and always will be Moose from the game.
There we go.
Correct.
I think
All right.
this is
Philadelphia Story next week. Be there or be
there.
super kicked. I don't know. I was trying to think of
Be
something
there,
from-
be super kick.
I don't know.